back to another segment of our senior spotlights. As you can probably tell, it's a little bit of a different setup, but that's because I am joined with Brendon Connett, all the way from the West Coast. Brendon, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Lindsay?
I am fantastic. Thank you for sitting out and going all of this. I know it's been a little difficult just because you decided to skirt out of here early, but I'm really excited to hear your story, and I know the rest of us are as well. So let's just hop right into it. So you are from the West Coast. How did you find Waynesburg, and kind of like walk us through the idea of coming the whole way across to Waynesburg and why it stood out or why you even came here?
Yeah, so my family were missionaries in Ethiopia for a couple years, and whenever we were there, there's actually a like college fair type deal, and Bob Barnhart came to Ethiopia to, I guess, advocate for Waynesburg University, and my sister kind of got connected with him. She's always wanted to be a nurse or a doctor, and so she kind of just asked the right questions, I guess, and decided to go to Waynesburg. And me, on the other hand, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I bounced from cop to forensic science to psychology. I've bounced around all over the place, but kind of settled on communication after I met a couple of the professors in the department, and uh, didn't really know what exactly I was going to do. So I decided to go where my sister was, and she was really far away and she was missing home. So I was like, may as well go, and ended up enjoying it.
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome, especially when you're coming so far away to have someone that you know here. During your time here, what organizations have you been a part of? Obviously, you're a comm kid, and we kind of have a ridiculous amount of things going on at all times. And I spoke with you a little bit last semester, and you were always busy. So what kind of organizations within the department and without the department have you been involved in?
Yeah, so within the department, really, yearbook, I was assistant editor this past semester. And then before that, within the department, I wasn't super involved. Kind of had a late start to getting involved in the department. But I was always part of, like, I don't know, Yellow Jacket, taking photos for them, and the yearbook as well. Outside of the department, I was part of the biblical ministry studies, kind of just cohort, I guess. People always hung out in the BMS office, the hub, or the campus ministry office, whatever we call it. But outside of that, outside of academics, scholarship based, I was a Bonner. I'm wearing my Bonner shirt. And basically, Bonner is just, you get a bunch of hours of community service a semester, and you get a scholarship out of it. So yeah.
Oh yeah, I've heard Bonners do a lot all of the time. So
Mhm.
within that, I'm sure you made quite a lot of friends. Is there any moments that really were just influential, or you were just, you are thinking and you're like, wow, I'm so glad I came here. I'm so glad I'm a part of what's going on right now.
Yeah, the whole, like, department of communication has been really influential in my life. The various classes, practicum, for example, reading Randy Pausch's last lecture was very encouraging, but also made you think pretty critically about the kind of field I was going into. That field being kind of church ministry, because Randy Pausch linked religion and marketing and communication just as a whole, kind of in a lump sum, and it really made you think critically about like, is this something I really want to do? And the answer is obviously yes, I do want to do this, because I graduated and I'm now pursuing a career in churches all around my area.
All right, awesome. And like you mentioned, you weren't here really all that long. I think you said 2 years, is that correct?
Mhm.
Two and a half. So has there been any personal growth that you've really seen from yourself just here in general since high school, since you left Ethiopia?
Yeah, so I kind of like pair all of my growth in like 2 year spurts almost, because in before I got into my ninth grade year, so would that be my freshman year of high school, uh, I went to Ethiopia, and then ninth and 10th grade, I was there. And then 11th and 12th grade, I was here in Washington State, I dual enrolled. So I was taking college courses for college credit while fulfilling high school requirements. So that's why I got out a little bit early. I was only in college for 2.5 years, or in university for 2.5 years. And then, yeah, like I just mentioned, the third spurt, the third growth spurt, if you will, was my college time, which was the 2.5 years at Waynesburg University. And as a whole, I think each one had its own growth. And I think specifically college was the main growth was me kind of getting out of my comfort zone. I've always been pretty big introvert, kind of a homebody, and not really like too fond of huge group like games or huge group kind of activities, if you will. And so kind of college, especially with like the BMS and comm departments, really pushed me out of that. And I think that's a great skill to have, is to like, it's okay to be an introvert, but also like be comfortable with people. And in our world today, when we aren't even able to see each other necessarily, in person rather, it's a really good skill to have, and to be comfortable stepping out of your comfort zone, be comfortable having phone calls like this, meeting in person, one-on-one with people, one-on-one. Maybe it's not one-on-one, maybe it's 20-on-1 for all I know. But just getting myself out of that comfort zone, and with the help of professors and peers alike, was really influential, and a lot of growth happened.
Yeah. So obviously you weren't super duper passionate, saying you kind of just followed your sister here, but are you happy you came to Waynesburg? And is there anything you wish you would have done differently?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with Waynesburg. Waynesburg was, like, to be honest, it was the first and only college I applied to. So my options were pretty thin, if you know what I'm saying. But as a whole, I think I'm happy with the experience because of the growth that happened the past 2.5 years, and professors for BMS and comm alike, kind of, like I said, pushing me out of my comfort zone and getting me used to the real world. And the real world is not nice to exiting college graduates who are 2 years younger than they should be. And so definitely being part of a community like Waynesburg University was nice, because it wasn't only all fun and games at school, but it's actually preparing you for the real world.
And you are in the real world now. So you've already graduated. What are your plans, short term and long term? What are you doing right now?
Right now, I am basically building on my portfolio. As much stuff as I can do for anyone that wants me to do it, I'll do it, throw it on my portfolio. And mainly because I've realized that a huge part of the, I guess, visual arts field is your portfolio. It's not necessarily solely on the academics. They don't just look at, oh, he has the bachelor, he has a master in whatever. It's, he has a bachelor, master's in whatever, but he also has this really good portfolio. He also has worked with clients before, and he knows how to communicate with them. He's friendly, he's patient, he has grace with clients if they don't respond in time or whatever, however that works. Basically just doing a whole lot of little kind of projects here and there. But as for future endeavors, if you will, a church, just getting planted in a church and working on the creative team there, that's always been a passion of mine. I've volunteered at my church here for forever. They don't have a spot for me currently on the staff, but as time goes on, I've been contacting a few churches and getting involved with them and kind of furthering the kingdom just through my skill set and my what I studied in school.
Right. So church, you love that. Is that part of your biggest goal that you hope to achieve long term? You want to be a part of the church? Or what is your goal long term, as far as what do you want to do with your life? Not just speaking career wise, just in general.
Yeah, just being, I guess, stepping outside of the church for a second, being ingrained in the community that I'm in. My family has always been part of the church community, but maybe not as much as the local community. So providing that for my children, if I live here, if I get married here, is pretty vital, because you can kind of not only give them a little like leg up in life if you're like really involved, but it also it encourages them to be social and to be active and like I mentioned earlier, you don't really know what's going to hit you like COVID. And so being active and being social and being aware of your surroundings and stuff, that's like very key. And in the long run, I would love to live here. I love to live in Washington State. I love it here. Washington and Oregon, really two of my favorite places. But it's all under God's control. And if he wills for me to be here, then I'll be here. If he wants me to be back in Pennsylvania, I'll be back in Pennsylvania.
All right. Circling back to Waynesburg a little bit, is there anything that you're going to miss? You've been with us, or you've been gone from us for a few months now. Is there anything that you're missing about just the college life or Waynesburg in general?
Yeah, I would probably say the access to direct community that we have at Waynesburg, or that I had at Waynesburg, I guess, is really, like, I think I took it for granted a little bit, because being here, looking for an apartment and trying to find friends, and like not only close friends, but also like even just like surface level friends, like anyone really, is like a task in and of itself. Because I mean, I am a lot younger than the graduates here, and they don't really necessarily want to hang out with someone younger all the time. And so kind of just integrating myself in this community, I kind of have to do that again, like I did for Waynesburg, kind of thing. And so I think that is what I will miss the most right now and in the future.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your day just to, talk to us here. Good luck in whatever in your apartment hunting in general, but thank you so much. Stay tuned. We've got more on our YouTube page, WUDP.